They thought the market was gone. They thought the servers were dead. Many of the dealers who ended up in Operation RapTor made one fatal assumption. When a Darknet marketplace disappeared, their trail disappeared with it. But investigators in the United States, Europe, South America, and Asia weren't just shutting sites down. They were reading what those sites left behind. Wallet trails, vendor handles, shipping patterns, message histories. And in May 2025, that quiet work surfaced all at once. 270 arrests tied to Darknet drug sales across 4 continents. What fascinates me about this case is that RapTor wasn't really one raid. It was a delayed detonation, a chain reaction built from older marketplace takedowns like Nemesis, Tortador, Bohemia, Kingdom, and Incognito. The real weapon here wasn't a battering ram. It was patience. According to Europol and the US Department of Justice, the crackdown relied on intelligence pulled from platforms that had already been seized or disrupted months earlier. A dead marketplace had become a crime scene that kept talking. So, who was being hunted? Mostly vendors and buyers allegedly moving fentanyl, methamphetamine, cocaine, MDMA, oxycodone, ketamine, and other illegal drugs through Darknet storefronts. People who operated behind aliases and encrypted messages. People who trusted reputation systems more than real names. And the central lesson is brutal. The biggest operational mistake wasn't only going online. It was reusing identity fragments across markets, wallets, and shipping behavior until those fragments hardened into a map. Not overnight, over time. When I read the official releases on this operation, one detail kept bothering me. This is what modern criminal exposure looks like now. A suspect doesn't need to make one giant mistake. He just needs to make 10 small, boring ones. The story starts earlier than RapTor. In 2024, several major Darknet markets were seized or taken offline. Europol specifically pointed to intelligence from the takedown of Nemesis, and authorities also linked investigative value to earlier disruptions involving platforms such as Bohemia, Tortador, Kingdom Market, and Incognito Market. Each shutdown looked, on the surface, like a separate victory. It wasn't separate. It was cumulative. Every market leaves residue. Vendor profiles, PGP keys, cryptocurrency addresses, complaint threads, escrow patterns, shipping destinations. Maybe a seller changes his handle. Maybe he changes the site. But if he keeps the same writing rhythm, the same product menu, the same drop pattern, or the same wallet habits, that old life starts bleeding into the new one. That's where RapTor gets interesting. It appears to have been less about kicking down one door and more about overlaying old fragments until hidden identities started lining up. Like laying 5 torn photos on a table and realizing they all show the same face. Quick question for you. What do you think was the bigger mistake in this case? Selling on the Darknet in the first place, or believing old marketplace data would stay buried forever? Tell me in the comments. By May 22, 2025, the results were public. Europol announced Operation RapTor as an international strike involving agencies from multiple countries. The DOJ said 130 people were arrested in the United States. Europol said the worldwide total reached 270. Authorities also reported major seizures, more than $200 million in cash and digital assets, over 2 metric tons of drugs, and more than 180 firearms. Those numbers are huge. But numbers can go numb fast. So bring it down to human scale. Somewhere, a postal inspector is holding a box that looks ordinary from the outside. Brown cardboard, cheap tape, printed label. Inside, according to prosecutors, is a link in an international narcotics chain that started with a laptop and an alias. And somewhere else, a vendor who thought a market exit scam or takedown had erased the past is hearing a knock at the front door months later. Morning light, hardwood floor, phone buzzing on a nightstand. That's the part people miss when they hear the phrase Darknet drug trafficking. It sounds abstract until it reaches a hallway. RapTor also says something uncomfortable about the mythology of Darknet markets. These platforms sell the fantasy of clean separation. New site, new handle, new beginning. But investigators treated them like one continuous ecosystem. One long memory. This is where the chain reaction angle matters. Nemesis goes down, data gets mined. A wallet address connects to activity on another market. A shipping pattern overlaps with an older vendor profile. A buyer account appears in a separate seizure. A marketplace admin log reveals infrastructure clues. None of those facts alone may be enough. But seeing the links together, that's a break. Together, they start to breathe. And if you're wondering whether law enforcement really waits that long before moving, yes, often the value is in not showing their hand too early. A seized server can be more useful silent than loud whispering. That's the eerie part. The marketplace may already be dead, while the investigation is still getting smarter. There was another layer here. Authorities said this operation followed intelligence sharing across borders, with Europol coordinating support and participating countries using digital evidence from prior takedowns to identify targets. In plain English, one country's seizure became another country's arrest lead. The evidence traveled before the officers did. That matters because Darknet vendors often rely on geography as psychological cover. Different country, different platform, different risk. But a parcel route, a crypto trail, or a reused username doesn't care about borders. And if the idea that a dead marketplace can keep testifying months later hits you as hard as it hit me, leave a like. Cases like this deserve attention because the real story is never just the takedown headline. Then comes the obvious question. Did RapTor actually dismantle the system or just harvest one crop from a field that keeps growing back? I think the answer is mixed. And this is my grounded opinion here. Operations like this clearly raise the cost of doing business online, especially for repeat vendors who treat aliases like durable armor, but they don't erase demand. They don't erase the market logic. They punish exposure. That's different from solving the problem. But there was a darker twist inside the official statements. RapTor wasn't framed as a victory over one surviving empire. It was proof that old seizures were still generating fresh targets. In other words, some of the people arrested in 2025 may have been exposed by infrastructure they trusted in 2024, or even earlier, long after those platforms had already vanished from public view. That changes the entire mood of the story. Because now, the real threat isn't only the active undercover agent or the live surveillance. It's the archive, the frozen database, the support ticket, the wallet note, The message you sent when you thought nobody would ever see it again. If you like understanding how cybercrime cases unravel from the evidence outward, subscribe. I cover a new true crime tech case here every week, and this one is a perfect example of how the quiet part of an investigation is often the most dangerous part. Europol said Operation RapTor involves suspects tied to tens of thousands of sales on Darknet marketplaces. Think about that scale for a second. Not one dramatic mastermind, not one movie villain. A distributed retail machine made of ratings, menus, postage, and trust between strangers who never met. That's the insight that goes beyond the usual headline. The Darknet wasn't only hiding crime, it was standardizing it, turning drug trafficking into something that looked structurally like customer service. And that standardization created records. Records created patterns. Patterns created arrests. The very convenience that helped the business grow also made it legible. 3 questions keep hanging over this case. How many vendors believed a vanished market was the end of the trail? How many buyers assumed a username was a shield? And how many other seized platforms are still being read right now? Because behind every chart and seizure photo is a physical world. Pills pressed in hidden labs, powder packed into envelopes, guns in dresser drawers, parents getting calls, front doors splintering before sunrise. Cybercrime stories always end up back in real rooms. By the end of RapTor, the message from investigators was simple, even if they didn't phrase it this way. The Darknet remembers. It remembers through backups, logs, blockchain traces, shipping records, and habits people were too confident to break. Gone isn't gone online. Sometimes it's just waiting to be searched. And that, to me, is why Operation RapTor matters.
Not because 270 arrests makes a huge headline, it does, but because it shows how modern manhunts can be built from the afterlife of criminal platforms. A marketplace dies. The evidence doesn't. If true crime tech is your lane, subscribe and join me here. I pull these stories from indictments, agency releases, and the investigative details hiding behind the headline. And if you want, next time we can go deeper into one of the specific marketplaces that fed Operation RapTor.